Welcome to the KG Ken Enthusiast second season of the automotive show. For the first season was a smashing success from my terms. If there are any more viewers who didn't see the show, please join the viewership of the current and the all new season of Kenyan KG Enthusiast. Now today we're going to talk about starting off the season is by talking about motor news. It's today's show could be a bit long, could be a long episode. So be prepared. It could be a long one, but it's totally worth the wait. So let's get off. Let's start off the season premiere, shall we? Now today on the show, this show could be a little bit about FCA, a little bit too much about FCA, but the three sickest muscle cars you can buy are going to be in conversation today. The three sickest muscle cars: Charger, Challenger, and of course Durango. Now that might sound awkward for you. The Durango might sound awkward. Will sound awkward about being a muscle car, but you get to that point as I explained. Also, some sad announcements will be made about two other important FCA vehicles will be discontinuing as well. Now, before start of the episode, I like to say please put a like and subscribe to my channel, and please hit the bell icon after you subscribe. And please put a like on what you think what I should talk about in the next episode to come. Any segment you want, any vehicle you want, any questions you want to ask, put in the comment section. Now let's start off the proceedings by talking about two discontinuations. So let's get off the small shrimpies of the business. Now the Dodge Grand Caravan and the Dodge Journey are fairly old. They are roughly the same age, and it's not often understated about their importance. The Dodge Grand Caravan is a strong seller in the FCA lineup because its unbeatable price and its standard equipment for that lower price in the minivan segment is often kept biasing interests. It proves that FCA is the expert of keeping all platforms, keeping them alive, and they truly are. As the Grand Caravan goes away, another one goes away. It's the Dodge Journey that also disappears. I never knew the purpose of it. It never made sense, but somehow it's going to go away. But there will be separate talking about each of the vehicles' importance. Join me for that video in the future. Now, this is the launchers. You got three important FCA behemoth sickest monsters you can buy. Let's start off by talking the more practical one first. The Dodge Durango. Now, the Durango has been updated for 2021. It's been given updated infotainment systems, updated styling. Now, many people thought it's a new gen, but that's not the case just yet because the next gen Durango is expected to go body on frame, sharing platform with RAM, so that's the case with the next gen. Now, the existing gen Durango always needed a Hellcat model or SRT8 model. Now, FCA and Chrysler and Dodge have often given us the opportunity to have a fantasy about power. So they've given us, we had the SRT8 model, but now we have to top the tree entirely, and it's also a limited run actually. One single model year only you can have the Hellcat. It's the Durango Hellcat. You can call Dodge Durango Hellcat. Now this behemoth is the world's fastest SUV in the world. In terms of 0 to 60 is only 1/10 of a second off behind a Tesla Model X. Are you surprised? Not really, of course, but that's an amazing achievement if you think about it. But in terms of other factors, it's also completes the Dodge Durango lineup before talking about a next-gen Dodge Durango, because I'm not so sure a next-gen Durango will ever get an Hellcat model considering a RAM platform. I am not so sure, but again, who knows? Dodge is being crazy enough to put the goddamn Hellcat into every Dodge they make, so that's totally reasonable. Now the engine it makes is its engine is a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 with 710 horsepower. Now that's 3 more than the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Interesting because the next gen Grand Cherokee is coming out soon. Something to wait on that. Now top speed is 180 miles per hour. Imagine yourself taking your kids to school in a 700 horsepower SUV. Not required, but it is very fun. It's not so bad. It's good to have one of those things. You know, all those V8 haters from Tesla lovers, please. Not everyone wants a Tesla. There are some people who don't want Teslas. Please don't bully other vehicles just because they are not electrification. Just because they are not. Remember, once you were consumers were also lovers of these cars. So there are plenty of the people who don't want Teslas. Now with 710 horsepower might seem a lot, it actually isn't. With Dodge you have to go to crazy levels of horsepower. I'm talking crazy levels of power. I'm talking 840, 800, I'm talking that levels of numbers. With the V8, now I know Ferraris are quite intelligent with their engines, but you got to give them for Dodge. Now, however though, the Durango, despite its refresh, it's 10 years in the market. It's fairly old and its platform donor, the Grand Choke, will be getting replaced very soon. So something to look forward on that as well. Now, it's not the only model which got changes. You have updated infotainments, as I mentioned earlier. And trim levels wise, I will mention you certain trim levels of the Dodge Durango. RT, GT Plus, Cardiac trim, and SR10 Hellcat. So that's pretty good to know. Prices will obviously go from $80,000 above. It should be certainly consider the premium you pay over the SRT8 model. So something to look forward to. If you have a SUV, don't want more. If you want a four-door saloon with crazy power, or if you thought once a Dodge Charger Hellcat wide body was a little bit, I want more. If you are that crazy, don't worry. They give our instinct of bad blood within us. If you want a true man's car, this is a true man's car. It shows muscularity to the highest standard, really. It's the Dodge Charger Hellcat Red Eye. Now, I know you're thinking, this should have happened long time ago. The moment the Challenger got the Red Eye, the Charger should have got the Red Eye as well, but unfortunately Dodge wasn't so sure people are going to have 797 horsepower or round figure of 800 horsepower in a four-door saloon. They didn't thought. But of course, as Dodge enthusiasts, people love them. Before this, I have to make a self-confession. I wasn't a fan of the Dodge brand before this, but this new image has turned me on and made me realization that raw V8 muscle power is what you need to have if you are American brand. For my guess, the most American of all American brands is Dodge. Raw V8 power, Hemi, or the Heritage, and I know we talk about that in another episode about which is the most American of all. That will be a very topic indeed. Now the top speed in the Red Eye is 203 miles per hour. That's very fast for a four-door saloon. It's faster than an AMG GT63S. You got to understand that. It's more powerful than upcoming AMG GT73 model. Probably more powerful than them as well. Now if you don't want that, you want a little bit less power, no problem. You got that is sorted as well. By the help, now the Hellcat model makes 10 more horsepower to make 717 horsepower, which is fairly reasonable. The upgrade seems fairly good, 204 miles per hour, but there is a reason why the more the horsepower, the less the top speed. It's because of aerodynamic requirements. It's because of the tires actually. When you have drag tires, you can put the horsepower and the top speed roll. But on street tires though, it's really hard to get top speed. That's a limitation. That's why we got to thinking about this. That's the reason. Now, of course, I want to talk a little more about the other areas about the Charger. They are updated infotainment systems, and if you get the Hellcat Red Eye, you get the beefy, muscular, butch styling, which I have to say I'm a big fan of it. Look, I'm always a guy who believe in too much muscularity isn't good, but some vehicles are meant to be muscular. So when you're muscular. So it's not really a surprise about Dodge market intentions. What they want to do about Dodge itself. But of course, as that goes around the hammer, of course the other Dodge Charger models I have to mention other Dodge models as well. I don't want to forget the rest of the lineup. Of course, that includes the V6 model, which is the S6T trim. You get SX GT as well. And the RT model, the 5.7, and the SRT8, the old 470, but it's like a degraded coin. No one wants SRT8 because the others are so powerful. But the prices wise, it should cost well over $8,000 again, well over 80k, and I think it's a fairly good price because you can't have a Hemi 6.0 supercharged V8 in the modern day emission standard world. So it's crazy, but you can't in the future. So buy while you can, enjoy while you can. Please don't keep them in your garage. If you are a collector, please drive them because these are built to be driven every single day. Now, if you think in the Charger got the change, don't worry. They have thought about the Challenger as well. Now, The Challenge is the one that gets the Hellcat models first, then it translated down to the other Dodge models. But if you want, listen to the thing. Ever since the Dodge Demon went out of production after a limited run, everyone said, I want a Dodge Demon. They didn't make it. Of course, Dodge has a reason. It's called leveling up through your limited editions. You start from one level to another level. That's how you level up. Now they have given you another level of Dodge V8 power. It's called the Dodge Challenger. It's called the Dodge Challenger Super Stock. Now the Super Stock is more powerful, way more powerful than the Hellcat, which makes 117 horsepower. It's more powerful than the Red Eye, which makes 797. However, it's less powerful than the Demon. That means it should make 807 horsepower. Now I know what you're thinking. It beats the purpose of buying a luxury hypercar entirely. Why are you even buying a Bugatti Chiron? Why spending $2 to $3 million on a car when you can have 807 horsepower in your muscle car? I'm adore Dodge for their bravery. In a world like this, when no one is really brave, they are truly brave as a manufacturer. They keep putting out these good products, and you really got to appreciate their appreciation. And of course, if you are thinking electrification, I heard a certain information. This is outside this segment this week, but they are talking about future electrification as well, something to look forward to. Now, the top speed of the 800 horsepower on a Behemoth is 168 miles per hour, which is a little bit, it is because two-door cars often have this called aerodynamics. So it's very fairly hard to put 800 horsepower if you don't speed the limiter off. It's also tires. The Red Eye has drag tires in it as standard, and the Demon has full drag strip tires, and it comes the Crater, and this has street tires. So obviously the top speed has to be lower to meet the tire standards. It's infamous. Even in 2005, the Range Rover Sport had this weird thing where the top speed had to be lowered down because of the street tires they use. Other than that argument, this Dodge lineup is pretty extensive. Now let me go through the Dodge Challenger lineup about this thing. SXT, RT, SRT8, Hellcat Red Eye, and SR Super Stock. Now, for myself, some people might say what Dodge needs is a Dodge Viper, but I don't think Dodge needs a Dodge Viper anymore, because the Dodge Viper's replacements are now slowly taking shape in the form of the Challenger, and I guess the Challenger does the job anyway. So, before we end the episode, thank you very much for joining me on this episode for the premiere of season 2 of the KG Enthusiast, and please join us in the next episode. Thank you very much.